Today we're talking about dropshipping on Amazon, but, and this is a big but, we're not talking about dropshipping in the same way you're probably already familiar with. That's because honestly, there's a ton of outdated information out there, especially here on YouTube, that doesn't consider the recent changes Amazon made to their dropshipping policy. And if you don't understand these changes before getting started, you run the risk of having your account suspended. So let's go over these real quick because they are very important. The first policy here states that you must be identified as the seller on all invoices, packing slips, external packaging, and really any other information included or provided with the product. What this means is there should be no mention of your supplier or manufacturing on or inside the packaging. So here's a good example of this. Let's say you sell this coffee mug or coffee maker on Amazon, right? And a customer purchased the product from you. You then turn around and purchase the same coffee maker from Walmart.com at a much lower price. Next, you enter the Amazon customer shipping information into Walmart.com. And now when the Amazon customer receives their package, most likely it will have Walmart.com identifiers on it. This is not allowed. Okay, so if you can't do that, then what's the workaround here for dropshipping? The answer, and I'll go into this in more detail later, is to basically find a supplier who doesn't put their logo or any branding on their packaging. So basically no identifiers on their boxes here. Again, I'll go into that in more detail later on. Policy number 2, you are responsible for accepting and processing returns. What this means is basically set your own address as the default return address. If you have a Seller Central account, I'll show you exactly how to do this. You want to hover over your settings icon here and then click return settings. On this page, click manage return address, and over here, manage your return address. If you already have an address, you can just select one here. If not, don't worry, just click add new address and add your address. Okay, and the third and final policy here is you must comply with all of Amazon's terms of services. Basically, just don't break any rules that apply to every other seller. That one's pretty simple. All right, with all of these policies in mind, how does dropshipping on Amazon actually work? Here's a great diagram that I think covers the basics. So first, an Amazon customer will purchase your product that you've got listed on Amazon. And don't worry, I'm gonna show you exactly how to create your first listing later on. Next, once the transaction is finalized and you receive your funds, you'll go ahead and purchase that product directly from the supplier and give them your customer shipping information. Lastly, with the buyer's information in hand, the supplier will then send your product to the customer without any of their branded identifiers. And that's the tricky part here. How do we actually get our suppliers to hide their logos? The answer is to look for suppliers outside of the major retailers, like Walmart, Target, Costco, and Home Depot, for example. Instead, there are other online suppliers out there that specifically cater to dropshippers like yourself. AliExpress and CJDropshipping. These are two great examples of suppliers that will basically hide their logos or all their identifiers. We're actually gonna use these two throughout this video to do product research, but before we get there, it's important to understand that when you order from sites like these, shipping times will be much lower than what most Amazon customers are accustomed to. But there are some ways that you can actually use some filters and narrow down just the products that have fast delivery times. So you can actually select products that are only shipped from the United States, and that should cut your delivery down from like 3 to like 14 days max. So we'll go over those in just a bit. Okay, I'm on AliExpress right now, but to be honest with you, I don't think this is the best way of starting product research, specifically for dropshipping. That's because there are a lot of products on the page here, but I have no idea knowing which ones sell the best on Amazon, or if they're even profitable. So when starting out, I actually wouldn't start here. Instead, I'd head over to Amazon and look for products that are already in high demand. Well, how do you do that? One great way is to browse through the best sellers, new releases, and movers and shakers pages. These are great starting points, and you can go down a bunch of rabbit holes to find interesting products that are already in high demand. And what I mean by high demand is any product that sells around 10 or more units every single day, which would be about 300 monthly sales. On Amazon, that's a really good number to shoot for. And to find products that meet this threshold, we actually have a free tool on our website that you can use. Just search for Jungle Scout Sales Estimator or use the link in the video description. How it works is you find a product and open up the listing. Then pull up the sales estimator and enter 3 pieces of information. First is the best sellers rank. You can find this by going back to the Amazon listing and scrolling down to the product details section. The number you're looking for is right here. Also, take note of the category as well, because you'll be needing this information later on. Going back to the sales estimator, copy and paste that number here. Second, select the Amazon marketplace you're selling in. And last but not least, Remember that category you noted earlier? Go ahead and find it from the list here. Once you're done, just click Estimate Sales. Now you'll be able to see the estimated monthly sales on Amazon for this product. Okay, now while this is a free way of estimating Amazon sales, doing this for 10, 20, or even 100 products a day can start to become really time consuming. You're also not able to search for and filter through the products that meet the other qualities of a good dropshipping product, like low competition and high profitability. So that's why I'm now going to show you how to use Jungle Scout's Opportunity Finder to search through every product on Amazon and find these specific opportunities. I'll also put a link for this down in the video description. To start, select the Amazon marketplace you want to sell in. Then go through and select one or however many categories you want to search in. Over here, this is where you can input filters to narrow down which products you want to find. For example, to find products with high demand, set the minimum sales filter to around 300. To find products with low competition, you can adjust this competition slider to low or even very low. And lastly, because you want to find profitable products, a general rule of thumb is to sell items between $20 and $70. That's because when you consider all of the cost of selling on Amazon, your profit margins will be very slim if you sell anything below $20. And really anything above $70, people are typically less likely to make a quick impulse buy. Now certainly, feel free to adjust these numbers however you want, but once you have all of your filters in place, just come down here and click search. You'll now see a big list of all the high demand product ideas in these categories. I'd recommend spending some time opening up a few products and tracking metrics like unit sales, pricing, and search volume over the past 2 years. This really helps give you a great idea of how strong this product idea is, or if it's just a trending product right now. The last tab here will display all the top products in this niche, and you can quickly see how many sales they're all getting. So for example, when you see a product idea like this, that clearly a ton of shoppers are buying on Amazon, you can copy this main keyword here, and then go back to AliExpress and run a search for it. Isn't this already starting to feel like a much better approach to product research? If it is, let me know by hitting the like button down below. Okay, we have the search term entered here, and now we can start looking for this type of product. But before going through this list here, keep in mind that most of these items are coming from China, so they'll take about 1 to 2 months to be delivered. So the workaround that we can do here is to use this drop-down menu and select the United States. This will eliminate all of those products that are shipped from China and show us just the ones with faster shipping times. So with the United States selected, I can now come down here and look at all these products that look very similar to the products that we were just looking at in the Opportunity Finder. What I'm basically looking for here is price point. So I like this one here. It's about 80 cents, it looks like. It looks like it's 80 cents on a new user deal. So it's typically $1.19, but as a new user, you'll get a new deal here. So what you really want to look for on AliExpress is the shipping. Down here, it says it ships from the United States, and we know that because we did the filters, and you'll see the shipping cost is $6.29. If you click more options down here, it will show you all the available options and how fast they will be delivered. So on this current ship method, it's going to be delivered August 23rd. For context, today of filming is July 21st. That's over a whole month. But as you can see down here, this option down here for an additional, what is it, like 20 cents, not even 20 cents. Your shipping time can be cut from, will be from 4 to 13 days. So significantly better going with this option here. And yeah, so that's not a bad deal. So overall, our total product price is sitting around $7 and what, like 50 cents. I'm bad with math, but even if it was $1.20, we're looking at, you know, almost like $8.50 around that mark, just to like go up a little bit more. So $8.50 would be our product price here on AliExpress. If we go to CJDropshipping and do the exact same thing, we'll want to enter that search term here and then filter by US warehouses. So again, we'll see all of the available products here that are going to be shipped from the United States. Let's say we take this one, for example, the product price is $8.99 and it actually has free shipping. So the shipping is baked into it. Now let's actually see when we will get this delivered. So there's two things to look at here on CJDropshipping. The first is processing time. So the processing time here is 1 to 3 days, meaning after you place this order, it'll take about 1 to 3 days before it even gets shipped out the door. So there are ways actually around that on CJDropshipping. You can pre-order inventory up here. So if you want to order like 50 or 100 units, then when you come in here and buy, or when a customer buys from you, you can just purchase from your order inventory. You just take from that pre-order inventory and then get right to shipping. And so shipping, the method right here is US first class, and you can see it's 1 to 5 days. So that's actually not that bad. That's better than the AliExpress one where it was gonna be 4 to 13 days. So if our cost is $8.99 here on CJ Dropshipping and about $8.50 on AliExpress, let's just round up and use the higher of the two. That's to say $9 is our per unit price here. Well, how do we know if that's a good price and if it's even profitable? What we can do is actually head back over to Jungle Scout, and under this category, you'll see the average monthly price. So the average price for a product like this in the category is $22. Now what we can do is under the top products here, if we click one of these icons, it will open up the listing on Amazon. And with the Jungle Scout extension enabled, you can open it up, and under the net column here, if you click it, you'll see a profit calculator tool. This is really neat. So we can actually enter our product cost here of $9 and see exactly what our profit would be here. In this case, it would be about $12 per unit, which is 134% ROI. That's pretty great. We usually shoot for anything above 100. One thing to keep in mind here is you're actually not going to be using this FBA fulfillment fee here for $3.54. That fee basically is for Amazon to pick, pack, and ship your product to the customer. But because you're drop shipping the product, you're actually not gonna send your inventory into Amazon. Instead, your supplier will do that for you. So you can actually subtract this $3.54 from the price and see your true profit. So that will be about $15 per unit that you'll make drop shipping this item. So if you find a product like this that's in high demand and is also very profitable like you're seeing here, you wanna reach out to the supplier and just make sure they won't ship orders with their company information. So to do that on AliExpress, you just come down here, and underneath this section here, you'll see contact. So go ahead and click contact and reach out to them. Now on CJ Dropshipping, you'll just come over here to this section and click on the supplier name. And on the next page, click contact supplier up at the top here. Now, after the supplier confirms that they will hide your information, before you list your product on Amazon, I'd highly recommend ordering a sample unit. And if you can, do it without the supplier knowing that you are a potential dropshipper. Now, a ton of people will actually skip this step, and I truly believe that's one of the fastest ways of derailing your business before it even has a chance to take off. Just imagine if your customer orders from you and the product is either terrible or it actually did come with AliExpress branding. That's no good, and you risk the chance of having your account suspended. So, do your business a favor and order a sample first. Then, once it arrives, inspect it to see how it looks, how it works, and if it arrived on time. All of these little details will help you predict how your customers receive your product once you start dropshipping. Then, when you're confident in the quality of your product, the next step you need to take is to sign up for a Seller Central account and create your first listing. If you're new to dropshipping on Amazon, you need to know that there are two types of listings you can create. The first one is called an FBA listing, which basically means you send your products into Amazon and they ship them to your customers. And the second type of listing is called FBM, which stands for Fulfilled by Merchant. This is the one you want to create because this means that you're responsible for shipping, not Amazon. And obviously you aren't the one responsible for shipping it yourself. AliExpress or CJ Dropshipping will do it for you, but you are still technically the one setting it all up. We actually have a complete step-by-step guide on how to create your first FBM listing that walks you through the entire process step by step. So make sure you watch this next video to learn everything you need to know. Or if you're just getting started and need to create a Seller Central account, watch this next video instead. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next video.